Hello, peeps and creeps, and welcome to Fright Club, and thanks for joining us for this very special episode of Monday Night Frights. I'm Gav, and he's Danny, and we are the Fright Club NI. Tonight's episode is brought to you in partnership with the awesome team over at Banterflix as part of their inaugural Dark Hedges Film Festival. Massive thanks to Jim and the team for allowing us to be a part of this amazing event. Another reason why this is such a special episode is because we're being joined by two amazing guests tonight. Joining Danny and I tonight is the co-writer and executive producer of Host, the year's must-see horror film and one of the year's most talked about movies, and of course, one of its leading ladies. It's Jed Shepherd and Emma Louise Webb. How's it going, guys?
Really good. You have to figure out which way around it is. If I'm the actress and if Emma's the exec producer and writer.
Well, here,
It's Emma, me and Jed. Emma,
Jed,
Yeah.
Emma, whatever.
It's hard.
It's hard, yeah. So
Well, she's actually moved in next to me now, so like she's my neighbour.
wow, for real?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we might get mixed up. Who knows?
Who knows? But no, this is amazing, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just two horror nerds that love talking about horror films. So it's amazing that you can come on tonight and share our love of horror. And obviously, you guys have been, it must be an absolute whirlwind of emotions that you have been going through the past couple of months. How have you been dealing with all the media attention and all the podcasts and radio interviews that you've been doing over the past couple of months? Good.
It's been really mad, to be honest, because we made this film and it's not that we had low expectations of it because we knew it was going to be special, but like the fact that so many people have seen it and that people covering it and it's getting out there is like amazing. I'm so chuffed for it, and I'm chuffed for everyone that's like a part of it, and for myself as well. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really like blowing my mind because if you can imagine it, we're just a bunch of friends who like are in the same WhatsApp group, and we just decided to make a film one day, and all of a sudden it's like the biggest horror film of 2020. It doesn't make any sense, and being like a massive horror nerd and like I dissect horror, and all I want to do is watch horror all day and make horror films. It's just bizarre to me that like some of these horror sites that I read and like these horror kind of luminaries are all like saying Host is so good, and yeah, it just blows my mind. It's really hard to understand what's going on, to be honest. I'm like in a dreamland. For 2 months I've been like in a waking dream where I wake up and like, oh my god, I've made like what people are calling the best horror film of the year, and it's nuts because we're British as well, and like it's just nuts.
No man, it's definitely is. Like it blew me away. I watched it a few days after it went live on Shudder, and it blew me away. Fantastic achievement. Well done, guys. Seriously, amazing film.
Cheers.
Really enjoyed it.
I jumped on it just after Gav had seen it, and then he was like, watch this, like get on it. And then from Gav's recommendation, like anyone I'm speaking to, I'm just like, go watch this movie. Go see it.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, we made it from start to finish, from inception to when it dropped on Shudder. It was 12 weeks. That's all it took.
That's insane.
And yeah, and that's writing, production, acting, post-production, and then the release on Shudder. Just 12 weeks all in all. It's crazy. Yeah.
So out of all the praise that you've been getting from all the sort of famous horror people and horror legends and on social media, name me your top 3 sort of OMG moments that you've been getting from your horror peers.
Oh, okay. So number 1 is Stephen King, though he hasn't tweeted about it yet, but he's sent Rob an email about it. Rob the director an email how much he loves it, and his son Joe Hill's been tweeting loads about it. But I think for me it's probably Ariana Grande's brother, maybe. I'm only joking. No, it's I don't know. It's just been everyone. It's like literally anyone you can think of in the horror community who's kind of a horror legend. They've all come out and said it. Like I was just because I have my own podcast called Jed Talks, and I was just interviewing Mick Garris just now, and he's just a massive Host fan. He kept on trying to switch it around to a Host conversation. I was trying to keep him, no, we're talking about you now, Mick. And he was like, yeah, but in Host you did this. And I'm like, yeah. It's crazy, yeah.
Mick's got his own podcast as well, very, very popular podcast.
Really
so
good.
He's just obviously interviewing all his peers as well. But yeah, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, but like honestly, from day one, it was on Bloody Disgusting, and actually Dread Central on day one came out and said we're the scariest horror film of the decade, and we're like, what? And we're like, yeah, and as important as the Blair Witch Project, and we're like, oh my god, this is day one. Like, what's going to happen on day two? And it just went bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then there's me on BBC Breakfast talking about horror movies to flipping the BBC
Wearing your
Breakfast
Shudder
people.
t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Seen that, yeah.
and then I'm on ITV like a couple of days later on the 6 o'clock news talking about Host. I'm just like, what is going on? I still talk to that newsreader, by the way, that 6 o'clock news presenter.
Really?
Yeah, Lucretia. She's really cool.
Oh, that's amazing. That's just, it's crazy how fast they're obviously
It must be surreal.
It's
really,
just
really
bizarre.
weird. For me, when it was on BBC Breakfast, I was like, huh?
Yeah.
No, like you grow up and you get ready for school, and that's what 17. Like that was really, really strange.
Yeah, it's like you've made it whenever you've went to BBC Breakfast.
I know.
You've been on the breakfast show.
But it's funny because like it was kind of like big in America before it was here. Like because Shudder is a mostly American thing, like most of their kind of subscribers are American, so it was big in America and went across all of their media first. Like Emma was on some Fox thing as well, Fox News thing, and but it wasn't really here. And then all of a sudden, as soon as we kind of did the BBC and ITV, then all my kind of like family knew about it, like, and they were like kind of. And like I've got like uncles and aunts and cousins just like, oh yeah, I saw you on the news. Like, oh my god. It's like, yeah, this is what I've been doing for a while now. Like, you guys are just getting onto it now. But it's just like friends come out of the woodwork, and I'm sure Emma's had it loads. Like friends, exes come out. And hey, just thought I'd keep in touch. Up to anything? You know what I'm up to. You've seen it on the news. But yeah, no, it's been cool, and obviously because like of the reception from Host, it's opening like new doors and new kind of interesting things are being passed our way, and yeah, it's just been a wild roller coaster that we've been on for like 2 months now. And
it's weird that it's been 2 months because it feels in a way like it's been a day, but it also feels like it's been a lot longer. I don't know, it's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just I think in like 5 years time, like we'll be somewhere and be like, oh god, remember we did Host, and it was like the biggest thing ever. That's what it will be like.
You'll be in Hollywood, mate.
Yeah, eat Hollywood. Like maybe.
Well, you're nearly there, aren't you? You've got a couple of big things lined up. Yourself and the director Rob are currently working with Sam Raimi, or you've done. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a film with Sam Raimi, which we've been working on for about a year, to be quite honest, like before Host, and yeah, hopefully we get to shoot that next year sometime. But we've got 3 Blumhouse movies to do first. Which,
that's right, yeah.
I call it Blumhouse. I call it Blumhouse.
It's actually Blumhouse. You're actually right, but for some reason I can't stop saying Blumhouse. I don't know why. It's Blumhouse. I should really get that right, shouldn't I? But yeah, like these are the kind of things like I'm saying it out loud, and it's like going, oh my god, I can't believe like I'm doing these things. So we're making the first Blumhouse one. Got that right. Now we've just finished writing it, and we're going to start shooting it in a few weeks. And then we'll have that out ASAP, and then we're going to start shooting the next one straight after that. Just do a Host, basically. Just keep making them.
And I'm going to guess here that you can't give us any clues or information about anything, or is it all going to be a big surprise?
Have you seen the first 2 Sex and the City movies?
Yes.
I have, yes.
It's like that. No, I'm joking.
Happy days.
The first one is fine. The second one, not so much.
The sequel, not so much.
I always pretend that I'm writing Sex and the City 3. No, it's different from Host in some ways, but similar to it in other ways. It's kind of on a much bigger scale than Host, where Host is quite intimate. This is kind of the opposite. It's less intimate, but equally as impressive, and we go bigger in some ways. And yeah, it's going to be very, very impressive, hopefully.
Amazing.
So then we've got 2 more to do after that straight away. So like,
no pressure or anything. Like you're putting yourself under a lot of pressure there, so you are.
Actually,
that's fine.
That could tie into a question I kind of had. I was thinking about like what would I ask, and I was like, I have a hypothetical question, and it's so Hollywood calls up and they're like, Jed, we want you to do Host again, but this time it's going to be flipped on its head. We want you to get all the horror icons, any horror icon you want. You can pick 6 of them, and they're going to be haunted by the spirit of a Karen. I want you to do that. And Emma, if you want to throw in yours as well, what horror icons would you invite to a Zoom call to be haunted by the spirit of a Karen?
Okay, me and Emma can share this. Horror icons. Okay, I mean obviously the main ones. Freddy Krueger would be amazing.
That would
probably
be so weird. Like, can we just think about what that would be?
Honestly,
like?
me and Freddie have a thing. I had a dream when I was a kid, and me and Freddie, we had a deal where he won't kill me if, like, in this dream, like, I let him kill my friends. It's a deal.
You sacrifice them to save yourself.
In the dream, and like this deal, we've got to keep going. So Freddy Krueger,
more, just so you know.
yeah, Candyman, just because you know he'll turn up. You know he'll turn up. Just say his name 5 times, he'll turn up.
Definitely.
And who else would I get? I don't know. I think Michael Myers. I think he'd be too quiet, and Jason would be too quiet.
They'd be bored, wouldn't they? They wouldn't say much. They'd just be sitting there like.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Every so often, you'd be like, "Turn off, come on."
I know.
Yeah, Chucky.
What about Pennywise? He'd
Pennywise.
He'd be good crack, wouldn't he? He'd bring balloons. He'd bring like little games you could play and stuff. It'd be class.
Yeah, Pennywise, Chucky. One more, Emma. You can pick a horror icon or someone from a horror film.
I'm struggling to think of any off the top of my head.
Jack, the ghost from Host. That wasn't real.
Against the Karen, I don't think anyone could win.
No, definitely not.
Can't beat a Karen because they're legion. They just it's too many of them.
So many of them just popping up.
Yeah,
like,
kill one, 10 more appear. Yeah.
Cards like the coronavirus, it just keeps sort of spreading.
Omnipresent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Omnipresent. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, it's crazy.
No,
but yeah. Also, I wouldn't be involved in a remake of Host. I would refuse.
No. Yeah. In about 20 years, though, let's be honest.
Oh yeah, 20 years.
It's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
There'll be a US remake of Host.
Yeah.
All set in New York apartments and Sex and the City 3. That'll be
totally.
That'll be a mishmash.
Oh my! Imagine Sex and the City 3, but the women do a Zoom seance. Genuinely, I'm gonna. I
think you need to make some calls.
Yeah. I think you need to write that down now.
I know. Yeah. That was kind of cool. You want to be in it, Emma?
Just make sure Emma's in it.
Yeah.
For sure. That's what I was going to say. Like, this film, we loved it. Absolutely amazing, as I said. Really scary, very clever, brilliant writing. But the main thing about it is the cast. Like, I think the cast are amazing. All the girls and Teddy are fucking amazing.
As much as you know what, then like as Teddy as a character, I was just like, oh, this guy. This guy with his. As soon as he walked in with the bun, I was like, man bun. But then he calls it a twat knot, and I was like, okay, at least he acknowledges it.
Yeah, he's totally self-deprecating.
At least he knows he's a dick. But
I think, you know, like when we were filming, before Teddy comes in, he had to be on the Zoom call, and he could hear what we were saying, and then he had to turn his camera on, and so he'd message us at the end of the day like, "Hey guys, I heard you talking about me. It was really horrible, you know."
Oh my god!
Did he really?
He
I never knew that.
And then his hair mysteriously got cut off after we filmed it.
Oh
yeah, he felt subconscious.
What a coincidence! But no, I was going to say, like, obviously you had written some sort of script, but was there an actual proper script, or was it improvised? You know, had you spoke about improvising? How did that whole process happen?
There is an actual screenplay now, like a legitimate like 60-page screenplay that we've done retrospectively. Yeah, we've got one.
Wow. Okay.
But at the time we didn't. We with all your words, all your improvs and stuff. So we had a 17-page beat sheet, basically, scriptment type thing. So we knew everything the girls would kind of do. We knew where we wanted to get them to, where they would start, but it was kind of up to them on the day to kind of get there, and that allowed them to improv and kind of natural conversations. And that's Rob's directing style. It was just to kind of let them kind of point them in the right direction, but let them kind of like say what they want, because a lot of the best lines, and I would say most of the best lines, are from the girls themselves, not from me or Rob or anyone. It's the girls coming up with, like, Emma came up with happy spookies.
Brilliant.
Half the stuff she says is just like gold.
I forgot
Yeah.
I said it. Jed was like, you say this thing called happy spookies when you toast, and I was like, no, I didn't say
Yeah,
that.
and I was like, it's going to catch on, Emma. It's going to catch on.
So much, like.
It wasn't that the hashtag you were using whenever you were doing the watch along and all that sort of stuff, yeah?
It's going to be on like all the merch and stuff that we eventually get merch and stuff. And
is Emma going to get a wee kickback on that? Is she? Are you going to get
maybe?
a kickback on
Hopefully. But let's see.
At least I want a free T-shirt.
Yeah. We all want that. Let's see when they're made. Like, we're trying to. Hopefully, by the time this is out, there'll be some kind of like merchandise.
Nice.
Otherwise, we're missing a trick.
We improv the same bits over and over again, and we didn't actually know what was going to be in the film, because they have A to B in a scene, and they'd be like, just go for it, do whatever you want, and each one was so wildly different.
Because we redacted the scripts from you as well. We redacted like the deaths and some of the set pieces.
I didn't know how it was going to end.
Yeah.
Really?
No, like, so when I watched it, I was filming me and my mum, like, screamed.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I actually didn't know that you were going to be sort of, because you managed to see quite a good bit through.
She lost for ages, yeah.
That totally wasn't me texting Jed like, please let me last 2 minutes.
and
Emma was doing that.
Emma was just like, let me stay, and then I'll yeet myself at a garden table.
I know.
I love that. See when the body just kind of goes like whoop into like the table, just smashes to bits.
Yeah.
And how was that? Because I wanted to ask about the practical effects and stuff, but who put that together? Did you manage? How was it like done?
So me and Rob came up with all of the kind of deaths first. The first thing we did, we just kind of like a list of how we wanted like to kill our friends, basically, because all of these girls are like our friends in real life. We've known them for years, and we basically assigned deaths to each of them, and so we had that from the start. So before we even had a proper script, we showed it to our some other mates of ours who were in the same WhatsApp group, the Quarantine Movie Club. We showed them to Nathaniel, who is our stunt coordinator. We were like, can we do this? How can we do this? And then we showed it to our VFX guy and our producer to see if these stunts can be done, because they all had to be done socially distanced. They couldn't be near the girls. They have to do a lot of the stuff themselves, a lot of the effects stuff that they've made themselves, and they're pulling strings for the cupboards to fly open and things. So yeah, they had to be taught. They had to be like the sound guy, the cinematographer, the lighting person, everything, a stunt person, prosthetics. It's all a lot of it's from the girls themselves. They have to do themselves. So it's a real ask, and that's one of the benefits of using your friends. You can push them a little bit more. And if it's a stranger, they would be like, I'm not getting paid enough for this. But with a friend,
to do the pillow bit and putting her own blood on.
Yeah, exactly.
Would she do it? I don't know.
But honestly, like Emma was like while we were writing it, Emma was like, I just don't want to die first. Don't let me die first. And actually, at one point, Emma did die first. Actually.
Oh no.
But it wasn't until we did a real séance with the girls before production where Emma's reactions were really good. So we were like, oh, we need Emma to basically play the audience, and so that's why Emma lasts for so long, because we need to see her reactions. So it was kind of like an audition almost, even though it's hard to say you auditioned your friends. But yeah, and actually some of like Emma's stuff is the best stuff in it, I think. She has the most protracted kind of death sequence, starting from the mask that appears in the kitchen that turns to her being yanked out the window and just smashed onto picnic table, and throwing the thing over the ghost, getting
I did a lot of good stuff. The wine glass.
Yeah, lots of cool stuff.
Had a big and the glass would go everywhere, and the pellets would go down the side of my furniture, and I'd be like, 1 minute, Hoover.
Yeah. But a lot of that is because we wanted to stretch you out and make you kind of last for longer. But also we didn't know how to kill you, so we were like, oh, this is where she dies. Oh no, but we need her for longer, so she doesn't die there. She survives, and then we'll make another death. And you can see she got about 4 different deaths.
I'm a cat.
Yeah.
I've got 9 lives.
But at the end, we were just like, oh, how are we going to kill her now? And I think I was just like, yeah, just throw her out the window. Like, so that's what we did. Throw out the
Literally,
window.
what I did for that bit was like, obviously we filmed the blanket and then like had my phone out the window, had to show my feet quickly and me jumping out the window, and then I did this with the phone out the window. And then it
Yeah.
got to the stunt team.
Wait, so you're saying it wasn't you that jumped out the window then?
No,
Wow,
that's
I
amazing.
had two stunt doubles.
Two?
Uni and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, and one of them went up for the original, like when she's
Well,
on the
she ends up.
yeah, and then one fell through the bench, and so they
Amazing.
did all the hard bits for me.
Yeah, there's
Class.
tons and tons and tons of hidden cuts in Host, loads, to various different houses, and
I think my
There we
house was
have
made up of 5 different locations.
five different houses. Yeah, Emma's kitchen
Wow.
is Rob the director's kitchen.
It's his
No
No
hand.
way. Really?
That.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow, that's class.
yeah.
Man,
It's because that's what you have to do in lockdown
Yeah.
when you can't get to locations. You have to just
Rob
do
went to
hidden
me.
cuts.
He was like, "What do your nails look like?" And at the time, I'd really nibbled them down in quarantine because I was like anxious. And then I was like, I thought it was going to be a problem. I was like, "Yeah, they're stubbly and horrible." He's like, "Great, perfect."
Yeah. Because if you had
They
like a
match
really,
his-
really long nails, he'd have to get those. By the way.
Exactly.
Should have got your nails done and just been like, oh, they look
Oh,
like this.
I would have loved it.
That's amazing. That's so cool. I wanted to actually talk about the mask part because
Yeah.
up until that part, it was all sort of scary things happening in the back, and you didn't really see anything. And then
Yeah.
as Emma walks through the room, you see this floating mask, and it just completely takes you out of left field.
Yeah,
But that mask. Am I right in saying that was influenced by the Alice, Sweet Alice mask?
yeah. It's the mask from Alice, Sweet Alice.
Yeah, I thought I recognised it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
we just stuck in loads of our like favorite like horror films, and also it's because we didn't think anyone was going to watch this film. We were making it for ourselves.
mhm.
We little did we know it would be Shudder's biggest ever like movie, and it's like taking the world by storm. But yeah, and like to be quite honest, with all these deaths, I think we thought of all of the set pieces and all the deaths like in like a 30-minute period. Like it was just really quick. Like she dies like this, she dies like this, she dies like this, she dies like this. And it wasn't, and because we were working so fast, we were just putting all of our favorite things we could possibly think of, not even thinking about budget or how we were going to do it. And that's not my job as a writer. I don't have to think about that side of things. So I'm just like, and then there's this then someone gets set on fire, someone gets yanked in the air, the next snaps, and it's like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? But that's the fun part of being a writer. You don't have to think about that.
Amazing, man. And was there a lot of stuff that you couldn't film that you had maybe written down, or was was everything?
We've got such a good team, like, and because we've made like short films before, they're kind of used to the stuff that me and Rob want, and I'm not like a baby about stuff, but I'm just like when I want something in a film, like, and like I just want it. So I wanted levitation and I wanted fire. But I wanted it to come from I wanted the girls to be set on fire, but they wouldn't let me. So for insurance, so Teddy had to be set on fire. But I was just like, oh, it would be cool. But it was actually, I think originally it was going to be Redina on fire, I think. But yeah, no. So we basically introduced Teddy. He was the only one who wasn't from the original friendship group, our WhatsApp thing. Because like I was really adamant that I really wanted someone to be set a full body burn, not CG, actually be set on fire. So that's why we had Teddy in it, and it kind of worked. We needed an antagonist.
It's quite sinister. You wanted to set someone on fire for real?
Yeah, totally. Because I wanted to set me and Rob on fire and film that and put that online just to show people how cool it is, and like no one would kind of let us do that. So like okay, yeah, let's just put it in this film. You'll see, okay, and this isn't spoilers. You'll see in everything that me and Rob do together from now on, there'll be levitation, fire, most likely, because like I just love those two things in horror movies. I think they're the two most impressive things. If you can pull off levitation and a realistic burn, it's so impressive, especially when you don't expect it, like in a movie shot on zoom. It's it's impressive.
Amazing. So you and Rob have obviously worked together before Host, yeah?
Yeah.
How long have you known each other? How did you start working together? Or
So we basically 5-6 years ago we made our first short film, but it was a couple of years before that we met just on Twitter, like I usually do. I see someone cool on Twitter. Rob had made a comedy short, like a 30-second comedy short online, and I basically, because I always think that horror and comedy are really close because they're both really, really hard to get right, and it's all about timing. So I saw that and I was like, this guy's got something. And I was like, are you into horror? Let's have a drink. Like, just as weird as that sounds. And yeah, he always wants to make horror. And there on that first meeting, I pitched him Dawn of the Deaf, which was one of our short films, which got us to Sundance, and is the reason kind of people knew us for a little while. And then we made Salt, which we made with Alice Lowe as the lead, and that is kind of how we got involved with Sam Raimi, why we're doing a Sam Raimi film. And yeah, and it's also probably the reason why Shudder took a chance on us and gave a bunch of misfits who didn't really have a plan and only had a 2-word pitch, Zoom seance, the money to make this in lockdown, because otherwise, why would they?
Was that how it happened? They just contacted you first and said, look, we need to make a film here. Obviously, with the quarantine and pandemic happening, there's not a lot happening. And they just said to you, look, go ahead and do whatever you can. And
well, we the Quarantine Movie Club, I set it up on the first day of lockdown just so my friends and I could watch movies on Netflix Party. So we were watching movies every night, and I was making posters. It was really cool. But then we kind of ran out of films to watch. So Rob contacted me and was like, I'm going to do a prank on our friends on Zoom. See what you think. And he showed it to me and I was like, they are not going to fall for that, Rob. They're not that stupid. And they fell for it. And I don't know if you've seen the prank video, but it's a 2-minute video. It's on Twitter somewhere. It's basically Rob going up to his attic, something jumping out, him falling down and dying, and all of the girls from host go, oh my God. And I'm in it as well, like trying not to laugh.
I screamed and like hit my radiator. I was sitting on my legs.
And it's so funny. And then we put it online, just again, not thinking anyone would care, but then it got like 7 million views in the first couple of days, and we were like, what is going on? Wow. And then people started calling us, and because Shudder already knew us from our shorts, we got contacted from pretty much everyone you can think of to make a longer version, because there was no content coming out. And this was late March. Sorry, this was late April. We'd already done like 7-8 weeks of the Quarantine Movie Club. And we said, we've only got 2 words, Zoom seance. We're going to use our mates and we want full control, and we'll just deliver it to you in 3 months, and just trust us. And like, they took a chance, and it kind of paid off for both of us. Like, they got their biggest ever hit and we got our biggest ever hit too. But that's the beauty of like trusting in what you've got around you, and like trusting your friends. And I'm lucky, like my friends are really talented, and like Emma could have been a shit actress. I knew she wasn't, but like I wanted to prove to everyone else like how good like our friends are at acting, and just.
Oh, thanks, Jed.
And yeah, and like they ended up being in the biggest movie of 2020 and the most talked about actors out there, and hopefully it leads to loads more work for them.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing online that you're pushing a campaign for Spider-Woman, Emma. There's a lot of people dropping photoshopped images of you with the Spider-Woman gear on.
Yeah, Spider-Gwen.
How did that even start? Oh, we did a live with the host fans, and then we were talking about, someone asked me what would my dream character in Marvel be, because I love Marvel and I love superhero movies. And I said, I don't think there's one out there yet that I'd want to be. I said, I think I'd want to be like Spider-Woman, Spider-Gwen. And then they keep drawing me as Spider-Gwen, and they're really cool. I love it.
You suit it, yeah.
Fingers crossed. You never know what might happen in the future. Keep the dream alive.
Spider-Gwen movie would be class.
I know.
Yeah, I can see Emma.
I can definitely see you as Spider-Gwen.
Person as well. Like I like movement, and I do dance, and
and your surname is Webb. Like, come on. It's too good.
Oh my God, I didn't even make that connection, but yeah, it's written in the sun. Like it's definitely going to happen.
Exactly.
I think there's a good chance. There's people behind it anyway. People want it.
But
yeah,
that's cool. But I was going to say, there's a lot of things happening online where people are picking their favorite group, their favorite friend of the group. And I noticed that people have started cosplaying as some of the cast and all that. I mean, that's amazing. But I'm going to put you on the spot here, Jed.
Okay.
I know Emma's on the call beside you there, but I'm not putting you under any pressure at all. You have to pick out of the 6. Who's your favourite?
That's hard.
You had an answer straight away though, because I saw your eyes go.
I know.
No, they're all they literally are all my favourites. I cannot pick. I can tell you like my favourite like death and my favourite scenes and stuff, but I can't like
Please.
because of they're all my friends. My favourite, I've got 2 favourite deaths. One's Teddy's, and not just because of the fire, but it's because of Emma's reaction. I think is her acting is like. I mean, because there's a lot of it because she was concerned for her friend's like life as well. But her acting there, I think, is like incredible. When Freddie is dying, and like honestly, it's the bit everyone like holds their breath for, like oh my god. And also Caroline's death. I think Caroline's death from start to finish is the perfect horror movie death because it's foreshadowed. There's so much about it, which the fact that she smashed her head on the keyboard and the words appear, so like you're getting closer and closer, and then she flies out, and
it's really like revolting, isn't it? Because it's like someone's pushing her head down, like
yeah, and also because I shot her background video as well, that like I recorded that, so I feel like part of that. So yeah, but I mean, like all of it's like really cool, like really cool. Oh, when Alan falls is really cool too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Regina's partner.
Yeah, but I just like the start bit, like before the seance when they're just talking as well. I just like all that stuff because we often have like Zoom calls, we have Zoom quizzes. We had a Zoom quiz last week, Friday or Saturday, where we were all on Zoom and just like making up rounds for each other, and so we're still doing that. But now obviously Zoom like is kind of like important to us just because of host.
Yeah, it's been a big part of your life anyway so far.
Yeah.
So you're definitely not going to say who your favourite friend is then?
No, because they're all my friends. They're all my friends.
Yeah, I think Emma's amazing.
But
who my favourite is?
Yeah, go on.
Of everybody in it.
Yeah.
Pat.
Yeah, of course, Pat.
Pat.
I love Pat. Was Pat improvised? Was that planned or was that just?
Yeah, it was actually planned. Like because like Caroline was locked down with her parents, so we knew we wanted to use her dad, and we've kind of already seen videos of her interacting with him, so we knew he was kind of a character. So we knew.
Although everything his top up was improvised.
That was improvised.
I was gonna say
amazing.
Yeah, the view that we saw, and every take he did a different go of it, and he was really funny and he was lovely. But when we could see, because the phone was just above the camera on the laptop, you just see like here. We saw
the whole thing. Yeah.
We saw too much of that.
Yeah, because that was the other thing. Like, it's the Zoom movie, but none of it was shot on Zoom. Like, it was shot on phones taped to the back of their laptops, and then we used Zoom's graphical user interface to kind of make it look like Zoom, because we had their permission to make it. But no, like the interesting thing is like, so Hayley, Regina, and Caroline, we know them because they were all in our film Dawn of the Deaf from 2016. So I met them in 2015, so I've known them for that long. Gemma and Emma is from my film Multiplex that I directed, which isn't even out yet, which will come out, I think, for Christmas, which is like a 20-minute short, and it stars all the girls from Host, and Emma's the lead. And the cool thing about Emma is how I discovered her is I was doing a panel at Comic-Con in London, MCM Comic-Con, and it was on the big stage, and I was like host in the panel for do you remember that film The Void that came out a couple of years ago?
Yes.
John Carpenter-esque kind of like practical effects. So it was a panel with them, and it was like a massive area, and it got to the Q&A, and I was like, you get free DVDs and T-shirts if you come up and ask a question. So a line formed, and I think you were the first question, Emma. Emma just appeared in the spotlight on Emma. It was really Hollywood, and she was like, "Hi guys, I'm an actress. I just wanted to ask, how do you pick your actors for your films?" And then the guys from The Void were given their kind of generic answers. Oh, you make a self-tape, and I was like, wow, that girl looks a lot like my sister, from a distance. Actually, the more I know you, Emma, the less you look like my sister. But like back then, I was like, you look so much like my sister. Like, and Multiplex, the film that I made, is about me and my sister when we were like 16, 15, 16. Actually, a bit younger, but I aged it to 16. So I was like, if I'm ever thinking of an actor, or if I ever get Multiplex made, I'm going to find this girl. But the only problem is, like, she needed to be able to act, sing, and dance. And I didn't know if Emma could do that. And I tracked her down. Well, actually, we added each other like, the next day, and I saw she was a singer and she was a dancer. But then I didn't know if she was any good. And then, yeah, she's amazing. And because of she was in that, is why she got into the friendship group.
That moment's filmed as well. I think I was there with my brother. He filmed me asking a question. You can see me and Jed.
Yeah. So even though it sounds like a Hollywood moment, it's filmed. So it's on film.
I think I've seen it. You've posted it on Twitter. Am I right?
I have. Yeah.
I've seen that. I just think
It's
I can
crazy,
still remember you
isn't
on
it?
stage. Yeah, and Emma's. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And it's funny because like
That's in a biopic in the future.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Definitely.
and me and Gemma met in 2016 on a Panasonic advert, and we got along really well. And we went out for pizza. Yeah.
Awesome.
She was trying to get me to eat truffle pizza, and I was having none of it. I was like,
no, truffle pizza's the best. Truffle. Hey, didn't we have truffle pizza like last year or something? Or
you had truffle pizza.
oh, okay. Like, how can you not like truffle pizza? It's the nicest. But yeah, like so it's a weird how all these girls got together and are in this film. Like, if one thing didn't happen, then maybe this whole film wouldn't happen. And actually, we wouldn't even have made it if it wasn't for the pandemic and being locked down. So yeah, it's making lemonade out of lemons, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best things to come out of this whole pandemic, for sure. 100%. Wanted to just say about Gemma there. Was it all Gemma's fault? Because there's a few different theories going online. Was it Gemma's fault? Was it not her fault? Was it already there? Was it not there? You know, Jed, spill the beans.
There's a few things that people haven't twigged yet about it that kind of spells out what happens. But I can say, in my mind, it's not Gemma's fault.
Okay. Very good.
Hey, whose fault do you think it is, Emma?
I think it was Hayley, because you know there are some people saying Hayley wanted to contact someone specific, and she's done this before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we've put the certain clues. I mean, and again, like even people who've watched it millions of times, they still haven't picked up on certain things where we basically spell out exactly what's going on. And I don't think even Emma is kind of like works it out, but there's stuff in there that will just tell you exactly why this has happened, who's complicit. But I think that kind of stuff is you don't know, but that kind of stuff is probably best for maybe the sequel or something. When we finally make a sequel.
Emma's trying to figure out right in her head.
I really am. I'm like, what have I missed? I didn't see Alan's legs though behind Regina for like 5 times. I had to ask Rob when are the bit with Alan's legs on the wall.
Yeah, there's a bit where Regina goes to the toilet, and as she gets up, you can see Alan being like kind of lifted up. So you see him drop. You actually see when he's lifted up before that,
Wow.
and it's the most expensive shot in the entire thing, but everyone misses it. It costs the most money.
I haven't noticed it yet. I'm gonna.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched it yesterday, and I don't remember seeing that. I'll have to watch it again very soon.
So it's when
you don't see it, but you just don't unless someone tells you.
Yeah, because we don't. It's not a big screen for her. It's in the grid view. You just see her getting up, and you see behind her when she's leaving her lounge and going to the toilet. You see these legs just dangling in the air, just like going up. Yeah.
And how was that achieved then?
Just because like we wanted every death to be kind of foreshadowed, and we wanted to make the audience feel like they kind of saw things before they happen, and we wanted just it to be rewatchable. Just 'cause my favorite films are all like stuff that you can rewatch again and again and see different things. And Host is a movie where you can watch it like 5-6 times and just see different things each time because there's so much to look at. And we just felt that the film needed so Alan just doesn't disappear for no reason. You see he's actually been taken. And there's a hanging motif.
Creepy, actually.
Yeah. We've like there've been people who've like done stills of it and put it on Twitter, and I've done it a couple of times. There's actually an account called Host GIFs on Twitter, and if you follow that, they do a GIF of it. There's a GIF on their account of Alan flying up in the air.
Awesome. I'll have to check that account out for sure, man.
Oh, it's really good, yeah.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of research. I do know that there's a lot of hidden stuff in there. I remember seeing you write about it, so I'll have to go back and rewatch and just.
Oh, there's so much, yeah.
I love stuff with foreshadowing, so I'm really looking forward to rewatching it again because I didn't see it the first couple of times that I watched the movie.
Every single death's foreshadowed. Yep.
Did you remember I said before, like, our pictures that we come in with, are they associated to our death? Because I had wings and like I go flying. Radina is on the ground. Like, and then she,
Yeah, kind of. I don't think it fits exactly right, but yeah, kind of.
Like that, maybe that if you want it to be a thing, that could be a thing.
Yeah, well, everything, like, I think because this movie is so short, like 56 minutes, we can do things like that. We can like just compress all this information into like a short space of time. So yeah, there's everything connects to everything. I don't think we'll ever make a movie as like fully kind of like the folklore like developed straight away out of it. Like day one, people like had theories and stuff, and it's really hard to come up with things like this. Hopefully the one we do with Blumhouse, it's a similar kind of style. It's not on Zoom, by the way, but it is a found footage type movie. Hopefully there will be that kind of talk about it, and we've kind of made it so that it is kind of that, where there'll be tons of different theories and other interesting stuff that I can't say, but it's real fun stuff.
I thought you were going to give something away there.
No,
I was just waiting for something there, but
no, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
Happy days.
Wait for it.
Do we know whatever happened to Salem? I was very interested to kind of, because I thought she was a very interesting kind of character, and she gets that great moment with the knocking at the door. That cracked me up. That killed me.
Yeah,
I would like to see more of her.
Yeah, interesting. So obviously Hayley knows Salem, doesn't she? It's like she said, like she's worked with her before. One of the things she said, which I thought is an interesting turn of phrase. I've worked with her before, and Hayley says she's like done this kind of thing before. And when Hayden drops out that first time, obviously you see something happen, right? Like if you look carefully, something happens, and then when Hayley calls her back, it's not referred to. It's just said it's internet issues. So that's something that's quite interesting. So Salem's a real interesting one. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Okay.
Are you implying that when Salem returns that it may not be Salem? Is that what you're implying?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Very, very interesting.
No, I thought she was an interesting character. I love her house. Is that her own house?
That's her real house. Her real house. She lives in the middle of nowhere in like Scotland somewhere. Yeah.
I felt rude because it came out in the cinema, and I'm like, her house is kind of creepy in the dark, and I had to tweet saying like,
Oh. Well, the funny thing is, like, we told the girls that Salem was a real medium. So throughout the entire filming process, when they were doing like the seance, they were closing the seance down as if it was a real seance, like they were acting. They were told that this is a real medium, be respectful towards her, and go copy. Well, everything she says, kind of listen to, and at the end you have to kind of like close down the seance, cut the rope, etc. And it was only after we'd kind of like wrapped up and we were having like a rap drink, then we said, then Salem came on, was like, by the way, I'm an actor. And everyone was like, no. Only Hayley knew that she wasn't that she was an actor, because we wanted Hayley and Salem to have a connection besides the other girls. So
but the thing is, they made us do that, cut the rope at the end of every shoot day, and at the end of like a week of it, in my head, when I'm cutting the rope with this big knife or scissors, it was getting blunter and blunter in my own imagination.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was just getting like freaked out because I was like, am I doing it right? cut the rope. Like, I don't know.
Your imagination sabotaging yourself. Wow.
I know. Ah!
Was there that proper fear of like, you know, the kind of exorcisty, omany kind of, could there be a potential curse or something on the production if we don't do this right? That sort of thing, yeah.
I was terrified, to be fair.
Yeah, well, the girls all truly believe in that kind of stuff. I'm the most skeptical person ever. That's why I can write about anything, and I don't feel like I'm stepping on a demon's toes or whatever, because I just don't care. But like for the girls, yeah, is that the one I bought you?
Someone else has just given me some more.
Okay, I had to. It affected some of the cast members more than others, and to this day, it's kind of a sore subject. But like
I couldn't sleep because my doorway in my real bedroom is the doorway in the movie, and I was just
I had to send her some. I had to send her some sage to kind of like sort it all out, and and I spoke to a celebrity exorcist, this Hollywood celebrity exorcist, for tips on how to help in Emma's like situation.
Did you?
Yeah, I told you that.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Remember when we were doing that séance with we did a séance with Slash Film, that film website, with a celebrity exorcist, and Emma.
Oh yeah.
Emma was the only one of the girls who couldn't come on it because she was having a bad time with the spirits and stuff.
It freaks me out. It freaks me out.
Yeah.
Emma, do you ever walk around your apartment with like flour and just start busting out just randomly, just in case?
I'm one of those people, if there is something there, I'd be like, I wouldn't want to know. I'm that kind of person. I'd be like, just it exists, but leave me alone.
Just,
you know?
Yeah. But I remember like, because I'm like a night owl, I barely sleep. Like after like the weeks following like host, it was usually like me and Emma at like 5-6 in the morning. Emma didn't want to go to sleep until the sun was up every single day. Like she would literally, I know, sorry Emma if I'm talking out of turn, but like it would be like, hey, what are you up to? And I'm just like, I'm really tired. I'm just finishing watching a film, and then she'd be like, yeah, I'm just waiting till the sun goes up so I can go to sleep.
That only lasts for a few days. But when we were filming, I had my phone on a tripod in my room, and Dougie and Rob were on the call as well on the Zoom. And I was filming, and I walked to the other side of my room, and it was already recording. Everything was fine. And then I heard, burr, 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 and I fucking looked at my phone. It was like, oh, what? And it was like calling. It was on the phone to the police. It was like, hello, 999, what's your emergency? Help, how can we help you? Like, I was like, fuck, excuse me. And I was like, oh, and I had to turn it off. And like, how did it ring the police? It was recording. It was filming.
Happy Spookies.
Yeah.
And also, like, Happy Spookies I don't even know what it means, but like it sounds cool. And so, like, that's our slogan now, Happy Spookies. Every time we take a shot, like we went to a couple of days ago, we had a massive screen at the BFI in London, and a lady turned up in Emma cosplay, and she bought us all like shots, and we did Happy Spookies shots.
Them.
She bought those shots, yeah.
I didn't realise.
Yeah, she bought us those shots. That's why we said Emma didn't want to drink, and I was like, Emma. Yeah. But no, it's been fun and games.
Amazing. But Jed, you sort of commented on a sequel to Host 2. I think it should be Host 2, Pat and Salem. I think that those two need to hook up.
The breakaway, like, them two ghost busting,
exactly,
avenging like what's happened. I personally would do Host 2 at some point. I just don't want to kind of rest on our laurels and just like everyone kind of expects us to kind of just come out with Host 2 straight away, but I'm just not like that. I'd rather do something different and interesting. So the thing we're making next is so different than Host. I think people will be amazed in how different it is. Like we're not playing safe at all. The opposite. We're doing something that's quite controversial, in fact. So it's going to be real interesting what people think of it.
Wow.
But still in the found, it's kind of out there. But in the found footage kind of scene. But then eventually, I don't know when, maybe next year, maybe 2 years time, I definitely have an idea, the entire story in my head for Host 2. Just have to convince Rob to make it. He's not one for like kind of doubling back and going back and doing that kind of stuff, but I think if we're throwing 100 million to make it or something, or like it becomes Disney's Host, then
oh god,
maybe, who knows one
Dis-
day.
Disney are buying everything now anyway, so you never know, it might be Disney's Host.
It's true. Well, actually, like our film Salt, that our short film Salt is actually a Disney thing because Fox gave us the money for it, so it was a Fox short film, so it's a Disney short film now. So
wow, is it on Disney Plus?
No, but it should be.
I'll have to check it out.
Imagine a Disney Plus horror category.
Oh, I'd love it. They've done some spooky things in the past, actually.
Yeah,
like mostly in the 80s. They did
Could
some
imagine
spooky...
Goosebumps and stuff being on that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but they did have a kind of for a while. Disney were doing some kind of like out there stuff, like Tron.
Yeah.
They did The Woman in White is a Disney film, and that's kind of a ghost story. But yeah,
Mr. Oogie Boogie, is that it?
I missed Oogie Boogie and Oogie Boogie too. Yeah, that's actually on Disney Plus. Oogie Boogie and Oogie Boogie.
I watched Return to Oz as well.
Love it,
and it is terrifying.
I love that
guys in the
movie.
wheels.
Yeah, the wheelers
and the head. You know, the Queen with all the different heads. That's
love
scary
it.
shit.
Jack Pumpkinhead, TikTok.
Brilliant.
I want to remake that one day. I want to remake that film.
Remake it with your friends.
Oh yeah, Emma. Emma, you'd be great as Dorothy. Actually,
I would love. That's my dream.
Okay, let's do it. You heard it here first.
Make it happen. That's an
fan
exclusive.
footage. Wizard of Oz.
That's an exclusive for the Fright Club NI. Emma's going to be the new Dorothy.
Yeah.
Amazing,
that
guys.
Would actually be quite good, you know. Fan footage Wizard of Oz.
It would be. You could make it really creepy.
Interesting, yeah.
It could be really dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, Jed.
And see the cogs turning now.
Hello.
It's like,
yeah. I'm always thinking of that.
Go get that written up tonight and tomorrow.
Okay, I will do. Yeah, I'm slacking.
Hello. But guys, that's all we have time for. And like, seriously, amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. Really enjoyed. Great meeting you. You're amazing guys.
Oh, thanks.
We love the film. We love the film, the pieces. We love all the cast. Jed, your class on Twitter.
Oh, cheers.
And say hello.
Emma, not so much.
Emma's amazing too. She's amazing on Twitter.
Okay.
And all the cast are amazing on Twitter. They're really interactive with their fans, and obviously, you know, the fans were a big part of this as well because they helped spread the word.
Big style.
But thanks so much for coming on, guys. And this is massive.
Thanks for having us on.
No bother.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and happy spookies, everyone. For
happy
Halloween.
Yes, happy spookies.
Happy spookies. That's not an alcoholic drink, Emma. That's like blasphemous. It's true.
I'm in the water too, so it's okay. But cool. Yeah, that's all we have time for, guys. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode with Jed and Emma. If you haven't seen Host, then please go and watch it now on Shudder. It's exclusive to Shudder, and I know it's got some screenings around the UK on select cinemas, and Underflix are doing a screening of it hopefully soon as well. So please check it out. It's an amazing film. Guys, thanks very much. All the best.
Cheers, Gavin. Cheers, Danny.
Take care. Stay safe. Say hello to all the cast for us. Jenna, Haley, everyone else. All the best, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.